We're joining them. Yeah, recording is in progress. So hello everyone, good afternoon. For those who don't know me yet, my name is Monika Slomska and I'm the president of HOA. And I'm really grateful to see more and more people joining. So looks like majority of our panels are interesting to the audience. So as the topic today, interesting and fascinating topic, very very active topic on the agenda, which is about rethinking of the workplaces in the business service sector. And before we move ahead with the panel, I would like to ask our audience to set the mics on mute. And you need to be aware that the panel discussion will be recorded. And today we have a special surprise for our audience. There will be 1 hour panel discussion. And after 1 hour, we will actually spend time in separate groups for discussion. So those, the time which is spent in the groups will not be recorded. And also the time when we will come back again to discuss on the reflection with our panelists and with our audience about the questions will also be not recorded. Christina, if you could, yeah, thank you. Set the mic on mute. So basically, well, I would like to introduce very briefly our panelists today. So from left on my side, Károly Kodály from Citi, John Ford from Logmein, Simone Olivo from Kavalen, Balázs Ágocs, who is our panel moderator today from GLL, Victor from HOA board, and István Lang from Eaton. So with that, I would like to hand over to Balázs. And yeah, let's listen to the very interesting panel discussion today.
Thank you very much, Monika, and a warm welcome to everyone. Today, I'm very excited to host and facilitate this conversation. I can tell you that this is not the first time we meet the panelists. We had a previous discussion, and so we kind of warmed up the topics and a lot of interesting things. And we hope that you will also join us. As Monika mentioned, this will be an interactive session after the first hour. So please have pen and paper, and because we will ask you to make notes maybe during the discussions, and after that we will come back and share what we heard and what we can learn from each other. So we are very close to 60 participants now. So hopefully we will have many thoughts and interesting aspects to share. So before starting the panel discussion, I would like to share you a few thoughts about today's topic, which is the workplace. And can we ask everyone to please mute the microphone? Thank you. So setting the scene, we are talking about the future of work and workplace. And what is the workplace? Workplace used to be a place to go working, but it became a holistic approach. And the very heart of the workplace concept is the employee experience. So when we can talk about the 6 B's, starting with bricks, obviously the office, but the experience is now extended with the bytes. So the digital experience, so the digital enablers of work. Obviously, the business environment is very influential, and the pandemic situation is one of them. When we enter an office, we can feel and relate to the brand and also to the culture, which we call the behavior, and also the experience. Very important. Includes the well-being of the people. So there used to be a workplace evolution, but with the COVID, it became a disruption. So we all have to leap, and the question is only that how powerful frogs we are, leaping from the current office space to an office or a workplace environment which enables activity-based work and hybrid working. So this is a historical transformation which is amplified by COVID, and we experience that very differently. We have a very diverse employee experience at home, during commuting, in the office, in the virtual environment. And based on this, we can imagine the future of work. So now the workplace it's very important to talk about flexibility. So we don't know what will happen within half a year, within a month, within a year. So we have to adapt to new situations again and again. We cannot plan offices or workplaces for 5 or 10 years. We have to create an identity of our virtual and physical places, and there should be efficient and sustainable as well. So we can now see and talk about different models. Offices could be clubs where we collaborate, could be hubs where we just go occasionally. We will continue work from home, and we can go to offices when we need them. So this is the workplace cycle which we have to do again and again. And it starts with forming a workplace strategy, then finding the right location, and then do the necessary project management, and obviously design and lead change, what we experience with our organization. So after having said that, this is today's program with a similar 4 steps. We will start with a panel discussion, then we go to breakout rooms, and then we will share experience coming back to this main room, and then we will have a final reflection. So here are our panelists, and I would like to all of you to say a little bit more about your organization, the size of your organization, how many people are in your offices at the moment, or used to be, or will be. And it's always good to start with a positive experience. So I would like you to start with something that was surprisingly strong in your organization, which proved the strength of the culture in which you work during the past, let's say, 14 months. So and we can go in an alphabetical order. so we can ask John maybe to start away.
Okay, hi, thanks Balázs. My name's John Ford. I'm VP of Engineering at LogMeIn, but also the country lead for Hungary, obviously. And yeah, it's been an interesting period, this COVID time. There's been a lot of challenges, but to say a couple of positive things. Firstly, we've all ended up with a little bit more money in our pocket because no one's had to buy a BKB Bérlet or eat their lunch in an expensive touristy place in the Belváros. So we haven't spent so much money on petrol, so there's been a bit of saving. But on the work side, we've actually seen productivity go up during this time, and we're mainly doing software engineering, but various other business services as well. And I can talk more about it later on, but we thought first of all that maybe it's because people aren't taking holidays, maybe they're not being sick, everyone's at home, but it was actually quite a prolonged, it's actually been probably between 15 and 25% increase in productivity throughout the period as a sustained increase, which has been quite a nice surprise actually, because we didn't expect that to happen.
Thank you very much, John. So, Victor.
Hi, everyone. I'm here today to represent the sector as best part of our board. I think the 3 major things which I believe I learned as positive things, so we learned all from this situation, is that how resilient this sector is for such situation. So I think it's proved to all our mother companies that it's a very good solution to have a service sector. The other thing is, I think, beside the fact that we are doing our best to support our mother companies, you've probably seen always and experienced always the fact that when team from the mother company was sitting in a boardroom having an online conference, that you've been in the boardroom and online conferences, and actually that created 2 separate teams, and that was not as inclusive as today. So maybe we learned as well to be more inclusive, as everybody was on the same conditions. And finally, lastly, and probably more importantly, probably this situation now created a better work-life balance for our employees.
Great. I hope to hear more about that. Thank you very much, Victor. Károly, please.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Károly Kodai. I represent City. So within City, I'm director working in the technology area, and I'm also the site lead for the solution center. To your question, Balázs, from a Budapest operation perspective, we have about 2,500 employees here. And in terms of positive things, I'd like to mention actually two things. And one is, despite the fact that we always had a flexible approach to work, even prior to the pandemic, i.e. people could work from home, or have this hybrid model. Still, the fact that on Friday we were, mostly office-based, on next Monday we're mostly remote-based, and it all went operationally very well. I think, that needs to be called out, resilience and agility. And the second thing, it's connecting to others as well, is I think employees in general received very, very well how companies and our company approach the pandemic and the flexibility that's been given during this period. Yeah, so that's been very well received.
Thank you, Clara. How about Ethan István?
Hi, good afternoon. This is István. So I'm representing Eaton, being a site leader. We have 670 people, and today not too many in the office, but we expect more in the future soon. The positive experience what we had, besides what John, Károly, and also Victor just mentioned, is really something what is about the people. So how they could adapt changes to the new changed environment and continue in an isolated world to whatever is expected them to do. So this is really amazing, and this something I admire. Besides, what's interesting to see is that the sickness rate dropped. So that's something, and it's not talking about COVID, but all in all, if you remember or think back a couple of years, normal sickness rate has been higher than it is today, and partially it's many reasons, but that's also good news.
Yeah, it's very good to hear that it's good for the health to stay at home. Thank you very much, István. How about Simone?
First of all, thank you, Monica and Do, for inviting me to speak at this panel. My name is Simone Olivo. I'm the country director of Covalent Solutions. We are a BPO and managed service provider headquartered in Ireland. We are present in Hungary since 2010, employing at the moment more than 300 people from 3 different locations: Budapest, Miskolc, and Vas-Szombathely. Referring to what the other panelists have said so far, I believe, and looking also at our experience, the main takeaway I think we are at Covalent most proud of is that we had a very seamless transition from a home office to a work office environment. But that, I believe, is mainly due to the social capital that we have been able to build within our organization in the last, I would say, 5-6 years. Also, as a result of this and how people felt during the last 10-12 months, we have noticed in our all-employee survey that there is an increase in recommending us as an employer versus the pre-COVID period. So all in all, a very, I would say, seamless and positive experience. And of course, we are looking forward now to reshape also our organization and to be even more ready to bring back all our employees at the office, because we are one of the companies that most probably are going to work on a stable basis from the office, allowing a certain rate of working from home, but mainly we are going to work from the office. So phase 2 is up to come for us.
Thank you. This will take us to your next topic is what kind of challenges now you face. We have adapted to this new hybrid situation, but we have solutions which will change again, and we have to adapt again and again. So maybe Simone, could you tell us more about how you reshape your organization? What are the current challenges of?
Yeah, well, you know, as I said before, for us, how we do intend and we think about the office, the workspace now, it has to be for us, for obvious reasons, as we are going to be back to the office, a physical space where people will be, it has to be able to work productively alone as a part of a team, and not only for a kind of transactional kind of job, but also for a creative type of tasks that we are assigning to our people from time to time. So I think that the workspace should be designed in a way that facilitate this kind of brainstorming, meeting sessions, workshops, and so on and so forth. Also, we believe that the office for us should be a kind of social space, a place to create social interactions, where to build social bonds, which is extremely important for a company like us, spread across 3 different sites. The learning also space, moreover, for new employees, I would say, people that they are approaching the work market for the first time. So a space where people must still feel safe and healthy, and a place where to practice, I would say, well-being, both mental and physical well-being. This is how we intend nowadays the office. We did a lot in terms of educating our employees about how to stay safe and healthy at home. What we are trying to work on the most now is try to understand how us as an employer have contributed to, let's say, increase that level of stress that the agents from time to time has reported. So as an organization, the main effort for us nowadays would be really to dig in our process, procedure, culture, I would say, really try to understand if that well-being, once we are going to be back to the office, how we can be really effective in giving, preparing an environment which really is the house of well-being for our employees. This is the main challenge so far. We do not have any concrete date on our mind when we are going to be back to the office. Probably, yes, not before October. But again, this is the direction that we are going to take. For sure, we are going to be back, not 5 days out of 5 in the week, but we are going to be working mainly from the office. And these are the challenges that we foresee at the moment.
Thank you very much. Now I would like to invite our panelists to, join Simone and share what's happening in your organization. István, thank you.
Yes, so if I may continue, let me just continue with a quick survey result, what has been done through HOA, and this was really about really just to see what has been done in the past about home office, let's say, experiences. How many home office days did you use in the past? How many home office days and remote office, however you call it, use it today or would like to use after the pandemic? And if you have the policy and the regulation which is supporting all this, so making sure that there is a base for the employees at your company. So imagine that before COVID, almost 55% of the respondents say that one day per week, that was a home office what they offered to employees. 25% said 2 days, and all these together, it's close to 80%. That was the big chunk. And of course, there were some smaller and more full home office based type of versions, so completely flexible, smaller portions. And completely the same question, what happens and what they are planning after the pandemic has changed a bit. And this 55% for the 1 day home office changed, is 8% dropped. And the companies who want to use 2 days is 22%. 35% of the respondents say we plan 3 days per week. 12% said 4 days, and then the rest is just again a split between the completely flexible and full home office. Interesting to see that the no home office disappeared. So it means that whoever was not allowing this flexibility before just went to the flexibility side, making sure that this is how they can minimize risk in the future. And those who had this option in the past, they were at least it seems they are increasing all this, making sure same way, decreasing the risk and also supporting more flexibility, providing more benefits to the colleagues, safe and healthy environment, even in an isolated environment.
What was the sample? What kind of companies have you asked?
Let me just, Timmy can help me.
Business service providers or Hungarian?
I can help
you. No,
Yes.
32, I get it. 32 32 companies already, and SSCs mainly. Mid and big SSCs as well. So it's HOA members. This is what we had. So it means that really the world is going to the flexibility environment. And just a quick snapshot what Ethan did when the pandemic came last year in March. So we also changed, and there was a good ability for the people to change to the full home office, and we could also make it happen 100%. And whenever it was dropped, so the waves were over, then we wanted to bring people back for different reasons. Interaction with others is really difficult in an isolated environment. Work-life balance is also something we need to consider. The isolated environment for people who are social, all in all, basically we are social, we want to interact with others. And this is also providing an emotional effect on the people. And of course, I believe at some point this emotional thing and the isolation may bring some effects on the productivity and the performance as well. The difference is when it happens is different person by person. And of course, people who are more junior, people who tend to work with teams within the team, and teams who work essentially, even with a supply chain, step by step, they work essentially together, even developing the processes. It's really difficult. This is what has been done face to face. It's not, I'm old school guy. It's about how it is effective, and I believe it is effective. So there are certain areas where the face-to-face and being there and meet people makes sense and helps a lot. And then when we started to bring back people with our return to office process, then more and more step by step way people came back, and what we experienced, that they like to be there. We, of course, which is a must, you have to create a safe, healthy environment with mask and social distancing. All the stuff, hygienic factors should be definitely there. But once all these are given, then people feel safe and they want to come back, and then just because they require this social environment again. So this was our story last year, and now actually the difficulty is about mainly the talent development, talent attraction and retention, just because even though it's remote or even hybrid or will be hybrid again, it's really difficult. Performance management, as said, and also how we manage remote teams, just because most of the team leaders never done that before, just because they were there inside the company offices. So this is really difficult. This is what they also need to learn. And just think about that. If you hire a new person comes in, day one, laptop, please go home. So how to embed these people into the culture, how to feel this is this is your company, how to meet, how to get to know your colleagues. So these are the things what we are facing, I think, today more and more.
Thank you, István.
If I can add, and I fully agree with István, is just really practically the question was what concerns me. The same thing as 6 months ago or in 6 months' time is, yes, wise hybrid working or at the moment mostly remote, work from home, model has got clearly benefits. It benefits to both company, benefit to both the employees. But, there are some problems, as István pointed out, that never been solved. And these are sense of belonging, collaboration, especially whiteboarding and innovation, how we train and teach, our employees and so on. And those haven't been, I think we've made steps towards, being better, but I don't think, at large they've been solved. Yeah.
Thanks, Caro. What happens? Yeah, John.
I can jump in and talk a little bit about LogMeIn's experience. So we did have 3 offices around the country, not just Budapest, but also Szeged and a very small one in Debrecen. And we had about 500 people. What we've seen is during COVID, we've actually grown. So we've grown about 10%, which means we've had to onboard a lot of people, relatively quite a few people remotely. And my colleagues in IT actually developed very quickly a very smooth process for that. We had a few kind of supply chain issues, which maybe you experienced as well, that the lead time really pushed out for certain IT equipment. We had to be a bit flexible with our suppliers. For example, we were hearing, it was going to take 3 months to buy a laptop from our usual supplier. And obviously, if you've got someone starting, you can't have them sitting around for 3 months. So we had to be a little bit flexible in terms of equipment-wise, but we got the process running pretty well. And we closed all our offices. So basically, we took a decision as a company, because we make remote working software, basically remote support, IT tools, video conferencing software, GoToMeeting. We took a decision to effectively drink our own champagne and show the world that we can work remotely using our tools, and hopefully everyone else out there can continue to work remotely, and hopefully we'll use our tools after COVID. So we shut the offices, and we will remain remote centric even after COVID, which basically means that we will do our work, our everyday work from home, but we will still have an office. So we've, during the last few months, we've commissioned a nice new office near Astoria, which will basically serve in your model, Balázs, as more of a club, more of a kind of drop-in place. At any given time, probably less than 20% of our people would be able to work from there anyway. So 1 day a week is the max that you can expect. We're going to be really focused on working remotely. And the challenge is kind of how to arrange the logistics to make that work. Because what István and Károly said about the creative innovation process being much more effective face-to-face, we're finding that as well. So for the 80% of our site who are software engineers, fairly introvert, they can get in the zone, concentrate, focus, and work actually at a higher level of productivity, like I said earlier. But for our product managers and the people inventing the next set of products, there's no escaping the fact that it is kind of a lot more creative. The creative process is accelerated face-to-face. So effectively, we'll use our new office as a kind of drop-in place, and we'll organize it so that a particular team has most of the office on a particular day, and we'll be running kind of accelerated workshops and then probably group lunches and maybe going out for a beer afterwards, and the social activities. It's going to be more of a drop-in hub, and that's how we're planning it. But I think we're all learning in this situation. I think we're learning how to manage remotely as well. So the point about building culture remotely, I I joined last January, so 90% of my colleagues I've never met in person. It's a bit different, you know, sharing a beer over a screen to having one in person. It's not quite the same. So we're kind of all learning and getting used to the new reality, but that's the way LogMeIn is looking at things even after COVID.
Thank you, John. It's very interesting that we are all not just building new workspaces and workplaces, but we're building culture. And I'm really interested what will be your experience. But before that, Victor, you would like to?
If I can build on what John said, I think it's a new reality, but I think we're still just learning what's going to know, and I think most of us are building around assumptions, and we have common belief what's going to happen and what our employee needs. We don't know exactly. Going from one very fixed reality where most of the people work in the office in a very structured framework, now going to the next very strict framework, which everybody's working from home, which are dictated by different rules, regulations, circumstances, etc., where everybody knows what they can do, what they cannot do, and which revealed a new opportunity, or actually just the effectiveness of that opportunity, which always existed. But when everything is going to be free again, what people want to do, what companies want to do, I think is just assumptions at the moment. People, we never enjoyed, those people who didn't work from home before, they never enjoyed a real home office. I wouldn't call home office where two kids are around as well, and your partner is around as well, working from home as well. Yeah? It's not a real home office at the moment. So we don't know what the real home office is. We don't know why we come to work and why we should come to work now where I can work from home. We say that people need socializing. Do they need, or as John said, they are all introverted in his sector, or it's something completely different? And I just realized, well, I just watched the movie on Netflix. I think the title was Concrete Cowboys. It's happening in Philadelphia. And there's a guy who says, okay, what is home? And home is not a place, but it's a family. And if you think about what is workplace is actually a second home. This is where you spend most of your time awake and sober, probably. And so I think second home, second family, and belonging to something, this is something is very important. I'm very curious, and John experience what's going to be, and deciding not to have an office completely. But I think more importantly, what we need to learn is that I think we can be more flexible. There are going to be different needs of people, and some people will not be able to work from home due to any personal reason. And maybe you just need that talent, and then you need to secure the office for them as well. I do believe the office is going to be completely changing, but it's going to be providing probably more diverse opportunities while you come to the office. Are you coming for a project meeting, for 3 days meeting, for a day meeting only, or you just want to have some more focused work because families are around at home and you can't do that? Or customer service people, some of them may not be able to work from home because of their private surrounding. I think most of our colleagues, they don't have a separate working room at home. Yeah, we can acknowledge that. So I think we need to be adopting our thinking about the office, that what the office provides and whether the office can provide various options for people, and whether we as leaders can provide various options for people.
Yeah, very true that a true activity-based workplace should not only facilitate social and collaborative, but also individual and concentrated work. So, but it all depends on the company. So, how much do you think that the new office can facilitate building a new culture, as you said? So, how much can you see within your organization, at your company, that the situation started to evolve a new cultural shift, as well as the shift in workplaces?
If I may comment on it, so and sorry, I don't want to be hung up on words here, but we do not necessarily want to build or create a new culture. And that's very important. We just want to maintain what we have and potentially evolve with what we learned, and still want to maintain in the current environment. I think both John and Victor mentioned, and I think this is critical. The office is just a building, yeah. And in my opinion, what will be important is not go back to the old routines, yeah, and look at, I guess what we all want, or at least we want to find out, is how to make sure that team collaborate, team meets, how they may need to change schedule, we may need to change approach. It's not only about the settings. Yeah, it is, settings can, help, a good meeting room can help, whiteboarding, better, but it's also how we better utilize or differently utilize the same office. I think that's one of the key things, at least in my opinion.
Do you agree, or do you think that maybe each one is raising?
Well, it's thanks. So for us, it's slightly different. So there are concepts where the office is changing. So the functionality itself. So it's a more a collaborative thing. But or what John said, they just go in to meet. Actually, this is what's happening at Eton today. People go in, having lunch together. They even can do some trainings, and not too many people still, but they meet, they socialize. That's the main purpose. I do the same actually today, and this is what will, I believe, change. And this is defined by the culture, company culture. It's different everywhere, and for us, it's defined also by the business needs and the business goals. Just because we have a really strong hybrid relationship with the manufacturing side, and we also have a manufacturing area, a plant in Hungary with 400 people, so we can easily compare these things, what the SSC provides and what are the features and what we experience in a manufacturing area. And this is what's happening in the EMEA wide everywhere. And expectations from the business is that kind of return should happen. And this is not because of a decision what has been made, just because it is coming from the past that these support functional areas, service areas that we brought into the SSC were working essentially really close together, hand in hand with the manufacturing and distribution center areas. And to some extent, it's working the same way today. And this is what they would like to see in the future. However, this new norm is still what we are shaping today, and that's why I believe I would see more people in the office in the future, in a healthy and good conditions we need, but people to interact, and this is what the people would like to, and this is the feedback we receive time to time. They would like to meet the others already. So these two together will also shape, together with the culture and business needs, the future return to office. So we will definitely use it for socializing, for work, and also for productivity types of things, making sure people meet there. But of course, we will not bring back 700 people at the same time, just because it doesn't work anymore.
John?
Yeah, I wanted to pick up on something Karoy said, which very much resonates with us, is that we have been trying to maintain the culture of Log Me In during this time. And it's been quite a challenge because actually it was very office focused. So, we've been trying to, just before Christmas, we sent everyone a special branded gift pack to kind of reiterate the fact that you're working for Log Me In, which went down very, very well. We've had a lot of online kind of quiz nights and wine tasting and various events online, with a regular cadence of reiterating the culture of kind of working together, but also having fun together. And I think that challenge is going to continue. after post-COVID. So given our strategic decision to work mainly remotely, we're still going to have that challenge. But of course, it doesn't have to be in the office. You know, we don't have to meet up in the office. We can meet up in Diósd or Gyöngyös or anywhere, really. So one thing we've been doing now that over the last few months, the restrictions have relaxed slightly. We've said that you can do CSR activities outside with up to 10 people. So, you know, a team can meet up and pick up litter in a park and have some social interaction. Doesn't have to be in Budapest, doesn't have to be in the office, still keeping a safe distance, etc. But actually that kind of team building gives back some of the social interaction that we've all been missing. You know, I mean, I've been missing seeing people. Much as I love sitting in the corner of my room and talking to the screen all day, every day, I do miss the social contact. And I think Victor was right as well when he said that we don't actually know for certain what people want in the new reality. We're kind of making some assumptions and some generalizations, but somehow we need to, with the new modern workforce who have had this taste of working fully remotely, we need to kind of be aware of what are the preferences moving forward in our particular talent market. And, you know, let's see what that's going to be after COVID.
Yeah, it's very interesting for us as integrated, you know, service providers, that how can you co-design with the stakeholders? So it's not just about employees, obviously, but it's about, you know, business partners. I have visited a company where they involved the messenger, the futar, in recreating the area, you know, the welcome area or the reception area where they had a high traffic and it was suboptimal. So do you see or do you plan any processes to, you know, to ask the people within your organization to how to reshape, redesign?
Yeah. So. Oh, sorry to interrupt, but regularly we've been holding employee surveys to, you know, say, do you want to come into the office every day? Do you want to come into the office 0 days a week? Do you want to mainly work from home or mainly work from the office? No one says they want to be in the office every day. So of the remaining 3 options, it's actually split about a third each. But the emphasis is more, and bear in mind that we're mainly a tech center, but the emphasis is mainly on working remotely. And that's kind of the way we would see it going moving forward. But we're going to have to work at it. We're going to have to work at making it work. So one area that we've had to improve on is operational excellence, to check that we are measuring the output of the process. So check that the systems and tools are in place to basically measure the results, even though, of course, we trust our people to be delivering.
Yeah, trust is very important. I wanted to ask Simona, your people are working at different locations in very diverse cultural environments. How can you handle this situation as a business process provider, outsourced company?
Well, let's say that we have always had a very tight bond across different locations. Let's say the core of our business, for obvious reasons, size-wise, is Budapest, but also having a small site in Vasvar and the full home office solution in Miskolc, of course, poses a lot of questions to us, challenges in keeping the company culture unique and well spread across different locations. As I said, I would say that for us, the main challenge now is rather make the back to the office appealing to people where the majority of our employees have experience and they said that they feel more productive working from home, or at least 40% said that they feel as productive or as pre-COVID, or another 40% they feel absolutely more productive. So this is something we need to reason on. We need to think how to make them, to give them a good justification to be back to the office, besides the assumption that clients want that. We are not allowed to let you work from home for IT protocols and so on and so forth. So these are the 2 main areas where we need absolutely try to find a way break in our people again. Yeah.
Can you specifically just mention a few examples? By what terms can you make this return easier for your people, for your employees?
Well, first of all, we have been enough lucky to redesign our office to partially refurbish 1 year ago, and no one has seen the new office environment, how it looks like now. So it's going to be an enough good business card for us.
They're interested.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks better than before, so it's absolutely a selling point for us. And
selling point.
to make transition easier on one end. We are also thinking to organize some specific activities in the office to support, as I said before, their mental and physical well-being. We have been always using the office to do some light physical activities. We are gonna push even more for that. So in order really to give them that feeling that the work office, the work environment, the office is not just a working place for them, but it's a lot more. We think also to organize some cultural club, and we are working on that. We have a specific dedicated area in the office where really to promote some small cultural events, a presentation of some books and things like that. So these are the concrete facts that we are working on. But again, we are still pretty much in the phase of reshaping our full engagement strategy. So
thank you. We have 10 minutes left from the panel discussion, and we have two further topics to touch upon. And one very important aspect is that the pandemic not just brought us challenges, but also business opportunities. By means of diverse locations or new talent acquisitions. Could you just please, any of the panelists, mention a few opportunities that you experienced or you are facing? Yeah, maybe Carl, you.
Actually, this hasn't really changed our approach. In general, in terms of location or hiring. I mean, obviously, attracting talent by itself during this period had, ups and downs, but, in general, our approach hasn't changed. We are primarily an office-based, organization. We will support, and we have supported flexibility. But we were very conscious about that throughout. Yeah. So, in other words, we haven't started to hire from, different places or different sources than before. Yeah.
Thank you.
I would say that from my hand, we rather saw our parental companies in Ireland, for example, requesting us to perform from Hungary job that before was delivered from Dublin, for example. So we have seen the benefits of working from home. COVID for us, business-wise, has been, as I said, challenging on one end. On the other end, has opened up more opportunities to serve our sister companies in Ireland or in Central Eastern Europe by delivering work that before was done just in Ireland, now from Hungary. And that due to the fact, I would say, mainly because workforce mobility has stopped. So locations, for example, like Ireland, it was very difficult to find profiles with a certain mix of experience and language, and they turned to Hungary for that. So, and I hope this is going to be a trend which, of course, and obviously goes beyond pandemic for us as a business, as a location in Budapest, Miskolc, or in Bács. All in all, we have seen the benefits. So
thank you.
Talent, the fight for talent, so it's rather given us some advantages staying in Budapest versus some Western European countries at the moment. Whereas I said mobility has stopped, and the catchment area for countries were drastically reduced, I would say, in the last 6-7 months.
Thank you.
No.
Have you seen opportunity?
If I may add, we see, so this what Kari said is something similar for us as well. So we see opportunities to further growth, just because the parent company is growing organically, inorganically, and due to COVID, the restrictions with the travel globally, and also this is increasing the risk. Companies tend to go onshore and nearshore, making sure they secure the business wherever travel is possible. With other words, bring more wherever I can get them closer. So I expect more growth in the future within the EMEA region. Same way.
Yeah, we've also seen opportunities. Obviously, clearly our business has had significant tailwinds, which has been good, which has meant the business has grown, the company's grown organically. I think one thing Victor said earlier about this pandemic being a bit of a leveler has been actually a major advantage. So it doesn't matter if you're not sitting in the room with your business partners in a different country, you are just as included in the conversation because everyone's joined online. And I think that's been quite an advantage because it's enabled people working remotely here with, say, American business partners to really show their value because they're fully included in the conversation. So that's been an advantage. In terms of talent, we've been able to hire from multiple other cities, so we've hired people from Pécs, Miskolc, who otherwise would have been would probably have been a little bit off the radar, to be honest. So we hired one guy who was so happy that we were working fully remotely. He said, I've got a small 8-month-old child and a 1.5-year-old, and it's like over 2 hours for me to get from my home to the office. So I would have been commuting 4 hours a day. And now working remotely, I can have breakfast, lunch with them. I can take them to Ovi. I can pick them up from Ovi. So he's, his family life has really improved. And there's multiple people and cities around where we could find these kind of people. And I think there's a lot of opportunity there, which we haven't really mined yet, because our workforce is still mainly based in and around Budapest, because up until now, that was where the concentration of talent really was in our sector. So I think going forward, there's opportunity there to kind of look more into the provincial talent pool.
Yeah, just Victor, please.
Just a final comment maybe to add. I think the pandemic had a different impact of different industries, and it's not specifically for a shared service center. And some industries been hit heavily, and for some industries it opened up huge opportunities, which of course has a derivate in a shared service center. Even the one which been hit, actually one of the solution for cost cut is to move it to a cheaper location, which is Hungary still, unfortunately, or luckily, is a cheaper location for them. But more and more roles prove to be location agnostic. So I think it's generally a greater opportunity, either moving activities from a less cost-effective location to a more cost-effective location. Let's put it this way. But even as John mentioned, is some companies took the advantage of reaching out wider than just a 50-kilometer range of Budapest. And just adding to John's last comment, maybe some people will still live in Budapest, but I knowing the people in the countryside, they love their countryside and they would love to move back home if they had the opportunities. The concentration of talents are in Budapest because there's no other opportunities, or lesser opportunities. It's improving, but it's still lesser opportunities in the countryside. But if they could move back and do the same job like they would do in Budapest, the same opportunities, maybe that company would be more attractive for them.
Yeah, we have, Victor, seen quite a few people moving out to Nagymaros, or moving out where they can maybe afford a bigger house. The other pool that we've managed to tap into a little bit is working mothers. So maybe mothers coming back to work who otherwise would have found it difficult to kind of manage the requirements of bringing up small children with going into the office, but now in a more flexible environment when they can basically do their work when they want to, when it fits their schedule, and they don't lose the time traveling. I think there's probably more opportunity there to kind of mine that talent pool as well.
And just a quick comment on that, maybe one group of people we shouldn't forget about, and if you're socially responsible as well, people with disabilities. It's opening up a huge opportunity for them as well. Without traveling, giving them all the equipments, computers, everything at home. I mean, they usually don't seek for a job because maybe the company itself is giving them all the accessibility factors in their offices, but until you get to the office, it's probably a nightmare for them.
Thank you. So bridging distances is one of the key opportunities. I fully agree. And let's bridge distances between us and the rest of who are listening today. So now I would like to thank panelists for sharing their thoughts about their companies. But let's jump into the breakout sessions. So let me share my screen again.